Special thanks to all our patrons who support the show every single week. Patrons, you keep the Run, Eat, Drink podcast going, and we're so grateful for all the support you give and the community that you've helped us to build. Not a patron yet? Join us today. Head over to patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast or buymeacoffee.com/runeatdrinkpod and subscribe for bonus content, social media shoutouts, and much more. Help support our show by using our Amazon affiliate link anytime you shop on Amazon for running gear, food, beverages, or anything else the little gray trucks might bring your way. Just use runeatdrink.net/Amazon anytime you shop. There's no additional cost. It's just one bonus click to help us keep the lights on and the bandwidth flowing. Go to runeatdrink.net/Amazon. And we thank you for your support.
Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm from Junction 311 Endurance Sports, and I'm excited to share about the Big Beach Marathon with you. You're listening to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Dana, this is a special kind of runcation recap. It's actually a forecast.
It is.
If you will.
How appropriate given the condition of the weather outside right now.
Yes, it is the rainy season. It's the humid season. It's a perfect season to train for a destination marathon weekend. And we heard out on social media that there was, a little race weekend called the Big Beach Marathon. And today we welcome Nikki Popovich to our show to tell us why this is a runcation destination that everybody should attend. Welcome to our show.
Thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate you coming on. We've had the pleasure of going to Alabama one time, and actually it was for a work trip. And then we did some running while we were there.
We did.
And got to enjoy it, but we didn't get to go to Gulf Shores.
That's true, yes. What was the town we were in for your?
Rocket City.
Oh, yes. I should have remembered that. Yes.
We were up there around all the rockets.
Mm-hmm. We're not quite that fast. So we love destination race weekends where we can see the destination when we run the different races in the race weekend and then explore and indulge in the vacation aspect of it after crossing the finish line. Before we get into the Big Beach Marathon weekend, can you introduce yourself to the Runcation Nation community? Tell us who you are and where you're from. And we're going to toast you with a little old fashioned that we're drinking, but you might have tea, you might have water.
Told me. Again, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having myself and representing our organization. Again, my name is Nikki Popovich, and you nailed it. And there is no relation to the basketball coach. That's the one question that I got.
Oh.
Let me scratch that question off the list.
Yes. So we don't have to ask.
Yes.
Okay.
And I am honored to share about the Big Beach Marathon. It is the first race that our organization, Junction 311 Endurance Sports, created from scratch. So in this industry, you can start a race and then you can take over some events that have been around for a while. And this one was the baby of the owner of our company. And he would travel to Gulf Shores. He's from Alabama. And he would travel there as a youth, and he just knew it was a place that there had to be a destination race. And not going to lie, when he told me that we were going to Alabama, I was like, what is in Alabama? I just wasn't familiar. And then I got there and I was floored. It's amazing.
We had the exact same experience, actually. And again, we weren't even there for a race.
He said, come on a work trip, have a little vacation away. And I was like, what am I going to do all day? Yes, I'm going to run. But then I was like, oh my God, there are so many things to do here. And there are so many places to explore and indulge local food and beverage. Just so great.
So we're letting you all know right now, if Alabama didn't come top of mind for a potential runcation, it's time to listen up. So, Nikki, talk a little bit about why y'all were inspired to start the Big Beach Marathon weekend. What was it? Just the beauty of Gulf Shores? Is there some other motivation behind it? What's the inspiration?
A lot of it was Mike having grown up in that area and knowing the beauty of Gulf Shores. And the motto of Gulf Shores is small town, big beach. And it really is like that. The town itself is growing up a bit, but it still really is. It's nothing like if you were to go to a Miami or some other larger city. And that's not downplaying any of those. It's such a quaint town, and the beach is huge, like huge. One of the other key things is the Alabama Gulf State Park is right there. So our race actually utilizes a lot of the Hugh Branyan Backcountry Trail, which just last year won 10 best trails in a USA Today poll. So it's a 100% paved trail.
I was going to ask.
Okay.
Yes. So when you go out there, you see bikers and, all kinds of stuff. And again, Mike was from Alabama, but he started our company in North Carolina. And we love North Carolina, but to have a destination race in our portfolio was an important thing for him. So again, that was the very first one. And this year is our 10th anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a big milestone.
Running strong.
Heck
yeah. So let's get into the specifics. Let's talk about it's the Big Beach Marathon weekend, but that's not the only event that you have there, right?
Correct. So Sunday is the big day for Big Beach. It's the Big Beach Half Marathon and the Full Marathon. And that starts and finishes right along the beach. So you don't ever run on the sand. It's paved, but you're right along the side of the sand. And it's I call it the Hangout. If you've ever been in Gulf Shores, this place is amazing. They have stages. They dance on the tables. Yes, they have statues all over. It's the coolest place. But on Saturday, we also host the Safari 7K, and that takes place at Lake Shelby, which is about a mile down the road, which is directly across the street from our host hotel. Oh. And that is a 7K, so it's a completely unique distance.
I was going to say, that's a different one.
Yeah. And it's a lot more approachable for someone that isn't ready. If you're local and maybe not ready for the half or the full. So it's very family friendly. But the cool thing about offering the Saturday and the Sunday is we have people take on either the dolphin or the shark challenge. So those people, if you do the dolphin, you run the 7K on Saturday and then the half on Sunday. And if you're a shark, you do the 7K on Saturday and the full on Sunday. And those people get extra bling for doing that.
Oh, you're skipping ahead but I love the sound of that. So
she's teasing
later
what it is.
Because I'm bling driven. So when you register for the race weekend, what do you get as part of the registration fee? So what am I going to get in my packet?
First and foremost, we want to deliver the best experience possible. But if we're talking about the swag, everybody gets that custom finisher medal. So there's one for the 7K, and then there's also a unique one for the half and the full. If you do the shark or dolphin challenge, you get a third medal that hangs from your half or full. Everybody also gets a custom race shirt. So the Safari gets a short sleeve. And then if you do the half or the full, you get a tech long sleeve. So you can end up, we don't repeat. So that way, if you do both events, you're not ending up with two of the same thing.
Right.
And then every race that you're in, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, on your race bib, you get a food ticket and 2 beer tickets. And those are all redeemable at the Hangout on Sunday when we have the big party. All of that is included.
That is fantastic. Now, I'm really curious to see that extra medal that you said hangs from the other medal.
It connects.
It does.
And then
We will get a photo of this. This will give you a chance to give us a nice, like, Instagrammable photo of it that people can drool over.
We've seen your social media. We know it's coming. Yes. And in the meantime, you've teased with what you get in the race fee. And before we go on to talk about travel components, let me just ask, what are the prices of the events?
We try to keep them really reasonable. Like in our mind, a good half marathon, like a really good half marathon, should be like $65 to $75 when you start. The closer you wait to race day, the higher it goes. And then we try to keep our marathons always under 100. I didn't look at exactly where they started, but I'm pretty sure that we start our half around 55 or 60 and the full around 85. And then again, the longer you wait, the higher it goes.
Sure.
For people that don't understand how it works, the sooner we can get you to register, the easier it is for us to prepare, because we cannot predict the size of your shirt. We can't order medals overnight. We have to get the food, the beer, all the
logistics of closing
we want to do
roads.
anything we can to incentivize you to register early.
And speaking of early, we are airing this in September. And the race is actually held, the last weekend of January?
Yes, it is.
So
we're going to give people plenty of advance notice.
Time to train, time to get the lowest entry fee possible, and get everything set.
I was going to say, and then we're talking about the travel components, which I think you've got some questions about that.
Oh, yes.
The earlier you can book those things,
the better, typically, generally. So in traveling, if you're flying in Gulf Shores, you think about New York City, you think about some of those big destinations like Miami, like you talked about, and typically people would know airports right off the top of their head. Where should people fly into for this weekend?
There's 3 options, but the one that I would most recommend is Pensacola. It has a large amount of flights that go in and out. There are shuttle services that go from Gulf Shores to the airport there, but it's also very easy to rent a car, and it's about an hour drive. It's not a lot of mileage, but it's a beautiful drive to drive from Pensacola into Gulf Shores. If you're not familiar, Gulf Shores butts up right against Florida, so Orange Beach. So you drive over right through the edge of Florida into Alabama, and it's just beautiful scenery. But that's where we recommend, and that's what our team coming from North Carolina does. We also, Mobile is probably the secondary. That's another option. And then the third option is Destin, Florida. It's just a little bit farther, but they're all good options. But I'd say Pensacola is the primary.
Especially because of the beautiful drive. We've done races in the past in Florida and in Key West. And really one of the attractions is driving to the destination. So
if you plan it that and you can make that drive kind of part of your experience, I think that's a good way to go. As a native Floridian and someone who's driven that stretch plenty of times, but the joke for us is that's not really Florida, that's really southern Alabama, because the terrain is so different than what you expect coming to Florida. It's hillier, it's very pretty, but it's definitely it's got its own character. And Pensacola, that area up there, of course, has plenty of air travel. You've got the air base there as well, so that's a great option. And having the other 2 options as well. Destin is a good bit smaller, I think, but I like that. That's plenty of air travel options for people.
And it sounds like you're renting a car from any airport if you are.
And when our team comes in, so I've done it all. I've driven in a huge truck from North Carolina. I wouldn't advise that. But it is doable. It takes us 13 or 14 hours. If you had people, if you didn't want to pay to fly, you wanted to take a car and you're going for a racecation with friends, you could rotate driving.
Yeah.
I much prefer flying now, especially for the amount that we're working.
Sure.
And it's really easy. The rental car place in Pensacola is right in the airport. So you can get some good deals, and they have 4 different rental car places. And then you just drive away and then you come back, just drop it off.
Perfect.
And you have the car for the actual
The runcation.
right,
Got it there.
getting around in the town proper.
And that's what I was going to ask about. So let's assume if you're flying in, you're going to rent a car, probably not going to Uber or Lyft from the airport to Gulf Shores. That's
that would
going to
be really expensive.
You could buy a car for what that would cost you.
Yes.
But once you're there and in town, specifically on race days, would you recommend driving? Would you recommend Uber or Lyft from local hotels? What is your best recommendation there? Or is there a public transportation option, or are there race shuttles? What's the best way for one of our listeners to tackle race day?
The number one I can say for anyone that's traveling for a race, don't depend on an Uber or Lyft when it comes to race morning, because there's so much out of your control and you have no idea how many other people are in the exact same boat.
True.
So I'm not saying it wouldn't work out. It's just, you don't know if people in that area are going to be awake at 5:15 or whatever time it is that you want to go. So I would use that as your backup.
Okay.
Our host hotel is 1 mile. So it is the Lodge at Gulf State Park, which is a Hilton hotel. And that's also the host of our expo. And right across from the 7K. So that's just about exactly 1 mile.
Okay.
And we work with a transportation partner that you can schedule a shuttle pickup that morning. And then the shuttle runs all day back and forth. If you're not staying at the lodge, there are some other transportation services. Obviously, a lot of the stuff is very close. So you could walk, you could use an Uber or a Lyft. All of those options are out there.
Okay. But for race day itself, it sounds like you guys have a really good system in place with the shuttle partner. So that's really good.
We try.
And Hilton is a friend of the show. Not a sponsor, but they have sponsored an episode in the past. And we are dyed-in-the-wool Hilton fans. So full disclosure there. No sponsorship here, but, but people have heard us talk about them a good bit.
We do love them. So
I'm the same way. Every time I travel, my mother says, "Are you staying at a Hilton?" She is diehard. She's not paid.
I feel like it's better than staying at a Holiday Inn Express. Those commercials. I mean, where they say, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express.
Their marketing is pretty phenomenal.
Oh, it is. It's true. It's true. So really the best place, she just answered the best place to, Nikki just answered the best place to stay, which is the Lodge, which is a Hilton property. There are other places to stay, I imagine, in that area, but that's going to be the ideal one because that's where the expo is. And you said right across from the 7K?
And did they block out rooms?
It's located right on the beach. So don't be fooled by the name The Lodge. It is no lodge. It's an absolutely gorgeous facility that has 4 restaurants inside. They have a little area with fireplace and beer in the lobby and live music. It's and we love working with them.
It's got the
and
beach
again, they partner with us and offer a discount. If people choose to look otherwise, there are a lot of options. We don't want to limit anyone from coming just because they don't want to stay there, but that's where we stay.
If it's a beach town, chances are good there are plenty of hotels. But, but it's nice to know that you got such a great partner hotel there. And that was what I was going to ask: is do you have a race group rate set up with them? And it sounds like you do.
Yep. And awesome. It's all right on our website. We have a drop-down menu and you can just pick lodging. And then we also have one for transportation. So if people don't want to take notes, they can go to bigbeachmarathon.com and click the transportation button and it has a link right to everything.
Awesome.
Did she say bigbeachmarathon.com?
She said bigbeachmarathon.com.
Okay. That's just what I thought she said.
Okay, so you've talked about the best places to stay, and it's not like that we're biased.
No, not at all.
But so tell us about, the expo is at the hotel, but tell us about pickup requirements and the expo, how that's laid out for the race weekend.
So what I love is, being that we own the event, what you would traditionally see as an expo, I told our team, I was like, this isn't an expo. So we call it the Packet Pickup Palooza. Traditionally, when you think of an expo, it's like a big hall and it's people you're like walking through, like trying not to make eye contact unless it's someone you really want to talk to. And
here, try our massager. Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to take that stigma away and really make it about having the experience, making it about the people that are coming to participate. So we're in a ballroom and we do have some vendors there, but it really is focused on you getting to experience what the area is like. So we bring in the Hangout brings some entertainment. So they're doing trivia throughout. We, of course, have the photo backdrops. You can take pictures. We have beach balls all around. So the kids throw them around and play with them. We offer that all day on Saturday after the 7K. And we ask everyone to pick up in advance. And it's been a big push across the board, not only for our organization, but for lots of them, that so many people would wait until race day. And it just causes so much more stress for them and for the event, that if somebody has extenuating circumstances, like they're not going to get into town until that morning, we will always work with them. But everyone we're asking to come to the Packet Pickup Palooza.
We've talked about that on previous episodes.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to, like you said, if there's an extenuating circumstance, that is never going to be the best experience for any runcation, any race event that you're going to go to, because you're stressed about get there, park, get there in time for
is there going to be a line
itself.
Yeah,
what will the line be like? Will they have my stuff? Did I forget my ID? Whatever.
Am I going to have to run with the shirt
right
that is in the whole getup? How am I going to negotiate that with my running gear?
It should always be a last resort, just like Nikki said. So great tip there.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we ask when you come there, if you're running the marathon, it is a Boston qualifying marathon, so you do have to pick it up and have a photo ID. But any of the other race distances, a friend or family member can pick it up for you. We encourage friends and family to come. If you're coming in from out of town and somebody else is there already, they can grab your stuff for you.
And like you said, it's all day. We have
beer at the expo too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to hydrate and you need your carbohydrates.
Carbs and salt.
Your carb loading.
Yes.
Chandeleur Island Brewing is our beer sponsor, and they come and sample, and they have some amazing beers.
Okay. I got to say, we were so impressed with the Alabama breweries we got to try when we were in Alabama. Florida changed its laws a few years ago, and it opened up the microbrew scene here. Alabama, I think, is right there. They are just killing it with beers. This is a local brewery?
Yeah, it's right in the area.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're picking up for the 7K, I imagine, on Friday if I'm working backwards in the weekend.
Yep. So on Friday night, we offer people doing the 7K a pickup, as well as anybody that's doing the shark or dolphin challenge.
Okay.
So they can pick up on Friday night. We also encourage them to come back on Saturday just to enjoy some of the other parts of the experience, but they can all pick up on Friday.
Samples.
Heck yeah.
Sample. So, sorry. I just got excited. No.
All right. I'm excited for the Packet Pickup Palooza.
Yes.
But
it's alliteration. My English teacher heart is singing right now.
So, okay, let's say we've gotten there. We've had our kind of pre-event party. We're hanging out there. You did mention vendors. The thing I like to ask when it comes to expos, and generally for us, what we look for in an expo is, if I lost my luggage, would I be able to get a little bit of nutrition? Would I be able to maybe pick up a pair of shorts to run in, and perhaps some running shoes? Is it that kind of an expo where there would be the ability to get some of that from vendors, or?
So we've back and forth with the running shoes. There aren't a lot of shoe vendors in that area. Last year, we started working with Running Wild that's out of Pensacola.
Yeah.
And so they did not bring the shoes with them. Okay. There had been one place that was in the area, and COVID took them out of business. Unfortunately, if you didn't have your shoes, you'd have to drive a little ways, and the best option is a Dick's Sporting Goods.
Not the worst
so don't
option,
forget
though.
your shoes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's not bad. And where did you say Running Wild is a running store?
Yes, it is.
And you said Pensacola?
Uh-huh.
So if you were at the airport and the worst happened, you could, when you rent your car,
swing through.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's a good tip.
All is
just
not
in
lost.
case, because things happen at the airport. speaking from experience.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
But the hydration and
Yeah.
all the other supplies you'll find there.
Perfect.
That's good.
Good.
Yay. Okay.
Okay, so we've gotten there. We've gotten our packets. Everything's great. Can you talk about some tips that you might recommend for people on race morning?
The number one
experience.
thing that everybody should know is to come early. Nothing is worse than feeling like you're running behind or you don't know where you're going. There is lots of parking around, but the road is a very straight road. And so people can get confused about where the parking lots are. So we have a section on the website for parking. But again, if you're not from there, it can throw you off a little bit. So just making sure that you arrive early. The other thing, if this race in particular, there are bathrooms within the Hangout. And then there's, of course, porta-johns.
Oh,
so don't get sucked up into a line in any one particular place. We're runners. We're not too good for porta-johns.
Oh,
Go wherever there's not a line.
I'm picky about my porta-john, but I'm not too good for porta-john. Absolutely.
Okay. So when you say come early, define early.
On
I
which
typically
day?
say 45 minutes ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay. And do the races start at the same time on both Saturday and Sunday for the shorter and then the longer?
No. Saturday starts a little bit later. Sunday starts at 7:30 a.m. And we have everybody line up around 7:15. And the pacers line up first to give people an idea of where they should be within the lineup. We do a presenting of the colors with the color guard and then a singing of the national anthem before anyone goes out. So again, making sure that you're there in time, that you're not trying to run around while those things are happening.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For sure. For sure. So then you have so there aren't really start corrals proper.
Correct.
Are there waves of starts or is it not?
So at this point, it's been about 1,000 people, which is manageable in terms of, so we space the pacers out and we leave it up to the runners to recognize where they should be within that framework. We did do corrals during COVID to keep things separate and just to space things out. But until the race grows probably double the size it is now, we don't need to separate people.
So the pace group, what is as a back of the packer, I have to ask what the slowest pace group is. So
we always have a sweeper.
Okay.
And then last year we had a pacer that walked with the sweeper. So there was an 8-hour.
Oh, is that the course time limit?
It is.
8 hours.
Yeah.
8 hours for both the marathon and the half.
Correct.
That's phenomenal. So for those of you that are considering your first half marathon or your first marathon, it may be a Boston qualifier event. You may not be trying to qualify for Boston, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You got an 8-hour course limit on this race. That is phenomenal.
Just line up with the party in the back. Right? No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but
no, that's great.
Is there a time limit for?
We
I'm
really
sorry.
try to be cognizant of every runner that's out there is special to us. So whether you're first or you're the party in the back, it's a big deal what you're doing. So we do everything we can to try to work with people where they're at.
Oh, this is great. And then is there a time limit on the Saturday events, the 7K and the Family Fun Run?
That one is about an hour and 15 minutes, if I'm not correct.
Okay.
Or if I'm not mistaken. And that's an out and back course. So it's very easy to stay on point with where people are.
Great.
Good. Very good. And that actually leads me into my next question. I was going to say, let's talk about the courses themselves.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about each event? Start with the Saturday events. Describe the course for everybody. What's the on-course support look like? Do I need to have my own first aid kit on my body? That kind of thing. Well, what can a runner expect?
Saturdays, again, it's an out and back. It's completely paved. There is a little bit that goes on bridges, wooden bridges, because it's over Lake Shelby. So there's parts that are swamp. We
do have those in Florida and Alabama.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So it's fun. You can look out for gators. We have one water stop on that course. You go out, you turn around, you come back.
Mhm.
I always recommend, if you're comfortable carrying your own hydration, do it. Only because you don't have to wait on anyone else.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about any lines. But we are there to make sure that everybody has what they need.
Mm.
We always provide hospitality both before and after the race.
Mm.
So there's food and drink both before and after right there in the park.
And I was going to, ask on the course, the hydration, is it water and electrolyte or just water only?
I'd have to get with our course manager about the 7K. It is on our website. I didn't study that.
Sorry.
So I don't want to misquote.
Nope, that's okay.
But anybody that's interested could definitely go and look.
Perfect.
On the marathon course and the half marathon course, there is both, as well as the gels. And we detail on the website what's at each one. Like certain ones, we also have pretzels, pickle juice, mustard.
Fantastic.
Anything you can think of that can make your need for salt fulfilled.
Pickle juice.
And again,
I'm excited.
I'm going to be asking a weather-related question
Of
later
course.
on, but folks, don't be fooled, because if you're coming from up north and it's January, that means nothing to us down here in the South. We don't. I'm going to ask specifics about weather in a minute, but yeah, you might very well need that salt. People get fooled that time of year down here.
You've been
fooled. You
I
got
have.
bit by it at a Disney race once.
and in Key West. So
Everybody got bit by it in Key West.
it's the time of year also. But in January, it's not as humid, I think, in the South. So I think,
Until it is.
That's what I was going to say.
okay. Okay. I was just trying to
I
be
was just going to
positive.
say, see the Donna Marathon in
Oh,
February,
yes,
or the Gasparilla in Tampa.
That's true.
Those two.
That's
the
fair.
weather is. I'm just going to ask the weather question now. What can
Okay,
people
do it.
expect?
Yes.
Honestly, the temperatures are usually, by the time you finish, maybe upper 60s. When you start, you're cool in the morning.
Mhm.
So I would definitely bring throwaway clothes. And if
Okay.
people aren't familiar, if you're newer to it, go to Goodwill, get something you don't care about, and then you take it off at the start line.
Yep.
And then we pick them all up and we donate them. If
Love
it's
that.
something you want to keep, we always offer gear check. So I'm a sweater. So unrelated to the weather, I will sweat if it's freezing cold out.
Mhm.
I will sweat no matter what. So I always pack gear, and we have gear check there so that after the race you can change
Mhm.
so that you're not uncomfortable and you can stay and enjoy the rest of the day. Like, definitely take advantage of that. But the
Mhm.
things before the race starts, when I go with my girlfriends for a race vacation, we always stop at a Goodwill, grab things we don't care about, and then that way we can pitch them whenever we get warm or right at the start line, whatever it is. And then a few years along the coast, there's been a pretty brisk, but I think most people understand that if you've been to the beach, that can happen.
Sure.
The majority of the race, though, is not on the water. So it's not a huge issue. So it is, you really don't have to worry about heat.
But the humidity.
But the humidity. And there's another H that I want to ask a question about, because she mentioned bridges,
Heights.
hills.
Hills.
You better be nervous, because I think we have one hill that's a total of 1 foot in elevation gain.
So I need
like-
to start I need to hit that
It's like
little
running in our
bridge
neighborhood.
down the road. That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay. I didn't
But
mean
that
to derail.
1 foot can be painful.
It's a heck
That
of
1 foot.
It's a heck of a foot.
We have to work on our form very much.
I did not mean to derail you in the description of the courses for
Sorry.
people. So we were on the 7K. We've now cleared that it's going to be cooler than, or relatively cool, but potentially humid with chance of breezes. I could be your weatherman. Let's talk about the other courses. What can people expect from the courses themselves, aside from all this massive elevation change?
Yes. Be prepared for that. You start out on the beach in the front of the Hangout. So it's the most gorgeous start ever. The sun's coming up and it makes for great photos. They run north and then they head into the Gulf State Park. And then, as I had shared before, they spend most of their time within Gulf State Park. So it's beautiful, like wooded area. They go around the lakes there. It's all paved. We have water stops at least every 2 miles. And then there's also porta-johns and aid stations. We're very lucky for the volunteer support we have in that area. We have one of the stations is manned by the parrot heads. So they give out lays and
That's great.
It's just a great time, like such an awesome community. But again, the majority of the course stays within that state park. And then as you get towards the finish, you cross over where the lodge is, where all of us are staying. And then you finish running down towards the finish line on the beach side. So it just makes for a really cool race.
Aww.
That's fantastic.
And then you can get all your medals. And I assume just saunter straight into a party.
Yes.
What is this after party like?
You can't describe the Hangout. You just have to be there. But it is live music. And they have a huge stage outside for the live music. The entire place is shut down for the event. So the public can come in. So friends and family are welcome. But it really is taken over by the entire event on Sunday up until 4:00. All of the runners get a full meal, and that includes gumbo. So they turn in their food ticket and get food. Yes. And then, as I had shared before, they get either their choice of non-alcoholic beverage or the 2 craft beers from Chandeleur Island. And they have 4 bars that are open for that.
Oh, my gosh.
And then one of the coolest things is we work with Sandcastle University. So it's a young lady that started a company building sandcastles, and you can hire her to build sandcastles with you and your family or corporate events. So each year she comes out and she builds a big beach sandcastle. So you can get photos with the big beach sandcastle.
Oh, neat.
And yeah, it's a really good time.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything like that except for maybe in Virginia Beach.
I was actually going to say in Virginia Beach, they had a professionally made sand sculpture. I don't know if I call it a castle, but but that's the only time we've ever seen something like that.
Are there unique traditions at the finish? You mentioned there are parrot heads along the course, but is there anything unique that people will just go, wow, I've never seen that at a race before?
A lot of people are surprised when you get your 3rd medal if you do the challenge after you cross the finish line. So you get your 1st medal and then you get your 3rd. So that's pretty cool. There's no waiting around. You get it right there, and then you get to wear it as you walk around. We get to do the awards out on the main stage. So not every race has a stage, and we love to give out our awards. So we do the overalls and the age groups in 5-year categories. And we always give a unique prize and a keepsake plaque with that.
Oh, neat.
And we always try to find something that is okay to travel so that the people that are traveling can take it with them. So it's non-breakable.
TSA friendly.
Yes.
Yes. And then, of course, having Sandcastle U out there, that's just a unique experience.
That's cool.
And then you cannot take away from the beach. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Taking off your shoes and walking on that sand down to the water, it's priceless.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And the waves are coming in and you feel the sense of accomplishment right there. Like what a great way to get into the runcation
the rest of the
part.
runcation itself.
The rest of the runcation part. And when you cross the finish and you've had the party, then where are the best local places to have food and beverage to celebrate? Keep the celebration going.
Assuming you've already had a great time at the Hangout.
Yes. The Hangout is there the whole time, and no matter how hard we try to expand our repertoire, we still even end up going there for at least one meal, not on race day. It's just that fun. But we also, one of the things you have to get, you guys may have heard of them where you're located, but you have to have a Bushwacker.
A what?
You have not heard of that yet?
No.
Oh, what?
A Bushwacker.
Okay.
Yes. It's like a frozen drink that is like a mudslide, but better.
Ooh.
And one of the tour groups we work with, you can actually do a bushwhacker tour of Gulf Shores. That's how popular it is.
I was going to say, is this like a regional spin on that type of a drink?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're all over and they're quite amazing.
No way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the way you wear your medals and celebrate with a tour.
I'll say the closest thing to that for us was trying different kinds of she crab soup up in Virginia Beach.
Well, that's true.
But
And then in the South, where we're at there, the gumbo is something to try, but the hangouts you'll have. And then one thing that we always have to do is go to Floribama. So
you're going to have to explain. I know what it is.
Yes.
You got to explain this to people.
Yes. So they have a few properties, but I would say the main location is not where you want to be taking your children, because they definitely have a room with bras hanging all over it from just over where the band plays. And it is a conglomeration of all of these rooms and bars and all of these things going on at once. And it's right on the Florida-Alabama line. There are not words to describe this place. It's just, you just have to go.
100%. Yeah.
It's like Key West.
It is very much like certain locations in Key West. Yes.
You have to experience it. Yeah.
I have coworkers that just laughed and loved it, and another one that had
horrified.
Yes. I'm like, why did we come in here?
Because you can say you've done it now.
Yeah.
Oh, multiple times.
Oh, that is too funny. Okay. Yeah. Aside from food and beverage, after the running is done, are there any can't miss destinations or sites that people should go and hit?
There's a couple for people that haven't heard. There's a place called OWA. So it's OWA, and it's really its own destination. It has a bit of everything. It was built up and it has hotels, shopping, rides, food, a movie theater. It's like its own amusement park. And so that's unique, especially if you come with family, but anyone can go. If you're into shopping, Tanger outlets are right in Foley. So that's another option. And then if you're a history buff, going to Fort Morgan is another option. Ooh. It's a short drive. And then a little farther is the USS Alabama battleship. But a great resource is if
that would
you
be
go,
really cool.
Yeah.
He was a history major. So yeah.
The Orange Beach and Gulf Shores tourism website has a lot of great links to things to do in the area, and they keep it really updated. So it's just a great resource to look at what's around there. But those are the ones I would recommend.
And we will have a link to that in the show notes for everybody.
Yes, I am taking copious notes about all of this so that everybody can plan the perfect runcation.
It sounds like this area of Alabama is going to offer a lot for our Runcation Nation to go accomplish, explore, and indulge.
Oh, yes.
I can't tell you. I'm excited at the prospect of this race. I think this is going to be a ton of fun. Nikki, we cannot thank you enough for taking some time with us today. This is just phenomenal. The Big Beach Marathon weekend is January 25th and 26th, 2025. I can't believe that I just uttered
know. What happened
2025 out loud. That can't be real.
No.
But it's a great way to kick off your year.
Yeah.
Nikki, tell us where everybody can find out information about the Big Beach Marathon.
Once again.
So it's bigbeachmarathon.com, and everything you need to know is there. And anything else you want to find out about our organization and the events we put on is junction311.com.
I get the feeling that there are other races where we should accomplish, explore, and indulge after we have experienced the Big Beach Marathon.
So what I'm hearing is we may be able to get Nikki back on the show.
Maybe.
I think that there's a good possibility your people are going to want to travel again.
There you go.
Fantastic. Nikki,
but we'll start with the beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
let's start with the beach.
You really can't go wrong. So, Nikki, thank you for taking so much time with us today. We really appreciate it. We're going to have that link, bigbeachmarathon.com. Check it out. Get registered.
Yeah.
Links to everything in the show notes.
And we can't wait to accomplish, explore, and indulge with you in 2025. Let's kick it off right. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys.
That's a wrap. So thank you for joining us on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, wherever you are. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe and well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.